Good evening, everybody. It's 6:24 on Monday, May 12th. We're here to do a follow-up community meeting about the Shell gas station at 215 West 31st Street. This is a follow-up meeting to the one that we had on April 28th. I promised that we would get back together before the planned zoning board of appeals hearing that the owner has, which is scheduled for Friday the 16th. We had an opportunity to talk to Mr. Khan and his attorney after taking in all the feedback from the last meeting. I know that, and I just want to know for those of you that are, can you take a picture of that and like email it to me? I want to, that way I'll share it with everybody online so they see that too. There's a list that the community has brought with them on actions that they'd like to see be completed as a part of this process. So I'm going to put that up on the screen momentarily. Somebody else is joining us. So the purpose of tonight's meeting is really to go over the concessions that the owners agreed to do based on some of the feedback from last time. Azam, you haven't seen this yet, so you're going to see this in a minute in terms of the items. It's uploading. Of course, everything's going to go slow when we need it to. But let me just let me talk about the things that I have in front of me. One of the bigger concerns that was voiced the last time, and I think over time, was this idea that there was going to be a casino that was going to be built into the gas station. Mr. Khan has agreed to a restrictive covenant, which is about as restrictive as we can get. He's putting it in writing that he will not seek a liquor license, because you need a liquor license for video gaming, and also video gaming is not allowed in the city of Chicago, but he's agreed to put in writing that he would not pursue either, as well as sweepstakes machines.
Correct.
In addition, folks didn't like the idea of the electric charging stations. So those have been removed and that's been approved by Shell. Again, remember, it's a franchise, so he has to get things approved by the franchise, by the Shell company. So all four of those things are in a covenant document that they've sent to me to review. And I've reviewed those, all four of those things are included in there. Another change that has happened since the last time we were all together is the Department of Planning and Development requested that the owner raise the height of the fence to 6 feet. I think it was, what was the height of the fence previously?
4 feet.
It was 4 feet previously, now it's gonna be 6 feet.
Which fence?
Which fence is that?
It's towards the wells.
Towards the where?
Wells.
Towards Wells,
And
okay,
wells will be 6 feet.
6 feet tall. So 2 feet higher on that. And they've also added a privacy fence on the southwest corner. Rich, can you share that? I can make you
I believe I can. Give me one moment.
I'm gonna make you the host so that you can share your screen.
There's a change. Let me try this first. If it,
Southwest corner would be on my own bicycle.
Yeah.
That's the southwest corner of the gas station.
one moment, please. I'm, okay, is this possibly, working where you can see the drawing, part of a drawing?
Yes, now we can. Can you, here, let me do the, oh, I can't, here. I can maneuver this a little bit. So the southwest, the privacy fence is here then, where my mouse is? Is that what you're referring to as the privacy fence?
Here, bear with me here. You're not seeing mine?
No, I see yours.
Okay, I'm sorry. So here, this would be the privacy fence. It would be
Oh, so facing Wells.
Correct.
correct. There's a full disclosure, there's a sidewalk here which is mandated by DPD, Department of Planning and Development. We can't block that, but the fence would be here, which we're adding as in response to some comments from the last meeting.
And what is the fence made of?
It's a wood fence, and if I'm not, with apologies, our architect. Here's a detail of the fence. Our architect could not make it on the short notice.
It's a wood,
6 foot recycled,
So you won't be able to see
Recycled.
through it. Okay.
Is there gonna be an opening from the building to the start of the fence?
so going back to the prior drawing.
I think the answer to that question is yes, and it's
There was
required
that
by-
sidewalk, there was the sidewalk there that we showed you that, would be open.
I mean, they're just allowing the people from the gas station to go come right on the Wells Street instead of walking around the fence. I mean, there's gonna be no privacy from the building to the fence. It's wide open. Why call it a privacy fence?
It should be closed all the way.
It should be closed, I mean, if possible, closed all the way to the building.
With respect to that sidewalk area, if that's what we're talking about,
I'm talking about the side of the building into the gas
Right,
station,
right.
not the city sidewalk.
Right here. That's where my little hand is.
Correct.
Alderman, I can't see what you're doing when my screen is shared. But,
I know. I'm trying to,
No, you're fine. If you could just describe it to me a little better.
yeah, so at the very southwest corner of the property. How do I move this back up? There is an opening from the sidewalk. So if you're coming in from the parkway,
Right,
from Wells, there's a gap then, is that correct? There's a gap between the privacy fence that is facing Wells
right.
and,
That, for what,
Privacy fence
that
would start where
gap-
it starts now.
so the city of Chicago, Department of Planning and Development wanted a pedestrian safe passage from Wells Street to the interior of the lot to the building. The reason they wanted that is because they wanted to minimize, for safety concerns, they wanted to minimize people having to walk through the proper garage or gas station lot.
the
Where
driveway.
cars would be moving in and out to the refueling stations, where cars would be coming in and out for parking spaces. So that's not even our design. The city.
And-
If there's a
But-
4 foot opening, how's it privacy?
No, but there's
I understand what you're saying, but I mean, it doesn't serve no purpose.
There's a wooden fence, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, God. Closed captioning, you're all in my way.
That opening is just gonna allow for people to come.
From the gas station and onto Wells Street.
And then all the garbage.
And that's where all the garbage comes, and that's where they all come and urinate on the side of my building and the 3111 and 3113.
Or where they run after they rob the gas station and run through our yard and everything else. So now you just get.
And I know you're not gonna prevent robbery, but it'll help. And that's all we're asking for is a little help.
So this is a requirement from the city of Chicago, though. This is not,
Yeah.
this is not
I
the
know
owner.
I didn't know that.
Why can't that be changed, due to circumstances? I mean, we gotta be able to bring it to somebody. So, see, here's so many questions unanswered. Are we able to postpone this Friday, zoning board of appeals another month?
The hearing, it's already been postponed once.
That was because the owner of the gas station was on vacation, correct? Well, we still need to talk, I believe, further on this, and if we could postpone it one more month until we get all of this straightened out.
We
I
have
think
to
it'll be
learn our- we have
beneficial.
to Find our legwork.
So
Beneficial to everybody.
let me get through the rest of this. So this is, put a pin in this one, Rich. There's, just to be clear, there is a 6 foot fence along the side of the building too. A wooden fence.
So this is the one that the city Department of Planning and Development requested be 6 feet.
That's along the neighbor's property, Mr. Passarelli's.
This is along the alley. This is along the alley. This is
I'm
this is
I'm
the
talking about
building.
the other side now.
Oh,
I want to go back to the southwest corner.
of course.
So that's a 6 foot high fence that is
Correct.
separate, that separates the gas station property from
Sure.
your.
It blocks-
Mr. Passarelli's
It blocks the view that several people found objectionable to this area. So as an accommodation for all the comments that we heard, we were asking to put this privacy fence to remove any offensive views to people that.
It's a great idea, the privacy
Facing-
fence, but it's not a privacy fence. If you stop it 4 feet where people can get through, how's that privacy?
it blocks 20 feet or so.
And leaves 4 feet open. I get it. I lived there for 60 years.
Um,
Can there be like an actual like closure on it? So if someone was really going to make the effort, go and rob the gas station per usual, and then try to run on Wall Street, it would take them some time and they had to figure out how to unlatch it. Like, can that be an option?
Yeah, how about a gate?
Yeah,
That
having
you
an
could-
actual gate.
A gate that you could keep locked and open it when you, for an emergency if you need to.
But
I don't wanna speak for the city, but my guess is that this is an accessibility from the city's perspective. That's why I think a locked
Correct.
gate probably wouldn't work. But I hear what you're saying in terms of your experience of just what's gone on, in the past here. I wanna address the security issue real quick. Azam, were you able to meet with that other company?
Yes,
Okay, so I made a suggestion. Are you all familiar with the company that does the booting over at CBS? Okay, there's a company that does, so they've had lots of problems with people parking there and going to other places. So nobody's allowed to loiter in there, nobody can park there, whatever the rules that are established by the tenant or by the owner is the rules that these guys follow. There's a person on the premises watching the lot at all times. That person generally wears a bulletproof vest with a badge and a body worn camera. If somebody parks their car there and walks away and goes to Dunkin' Donuts, they stick a boot on that car. And it costs them $125 to get the boot off. I suggested to Azam that he take a look at this company because I think part of the problem that contributes to the crime over there is that people loiter when they shouldn't. If you're coming to get gas and move on.
Right.
Come to buy something, move on. This would prevent people from loitering. So I asked him to take a look at this company. He currently has a contract with another tow company. He and I haven't talked since they met with the company today. That was my suggestion, because I thought that would actually do better than a security guard inside, because a security guard inside, I think generally is meant more for the shop inside and they still face the problems outside. This is somebody that's constantly watching the outside at all times. Azam, can you tell us about how that conversation went? Is that something that you're gonna be able to pursue?
yes, they are going to put up their signage this week or next week, depending upon their schedule.
Oh, so you already engaged them?
They'll put up the two sign, their signage on my property.
And then when are they gonna start patrol, or when are they gonna start being on the premises?
Like I said, he's gonna send me the contract. We
Okay,
met at 9 o'clock this morning, but talked to my Shell rep while he was at my station. So he agreed on, so we said, okay, go ahead. So he's gonna send me the contract. I did not see the contract here, but the office, okay, the Shell corporate office okayed it. So we can, he showed me where he can put those two signage, so I said, okay, go ahead, put those signage.
Is there gonna be like an end date on the contract? Like, what if the person resigns and there's no more security guard? Is Azam responsible for keeping a security guard here throughout the duration of this gas station being open? So I want to make sure it's not a short-term thing, because he had someone before who was stabbed and then that was it for a security guard. Never saw the guy again. So,
it's not currently, because this has just been established today. That is, the question in the, I don't know if you heard the question, Azam or Rich, the question in the room was, is this something that is going to be maintained for the life of the gas station while Azam has it? Or is it because there was a security guard there previously and he was stabbed and then there was no more security? I think,
Yeah, I have not received the contract, but as soon as I receive the contract, but the corporate office did okay, we can work with them, but I do not have any details yet.
okay, did they give you any sense of like what the term of the contract would be, or did you ask for any particular term for the contract?
Well, he had to go to Plainfield from my location. He was he's gonna email me all the details.
Okay,
Azam, do you have a towing company now for the site?
He was saying that he will work with them company, he can still put up their signage too with them. He said he know the owner.
Okay, so you've actually had towing services on some level
Right.
already, and we're switching
Last
to
time
a,
a car was
we're
towed out
switching
of
to
there.
a more aggressive company, but it's a continuation of something you've been doing, right?
Could you honestly answer me this question? When's the last time a car was towed out of there for loitering?
When was
Be
the last,
honest, Tom.
was the last what?
The last time you towed a car for loitering? Be
I would-
honest.
What do you mean, be honest? I'll always be honest,
Okay.
all right? So just calm down, okay?
All right, I'll calm down. When was the last time?
I have to call the tow truck company and find out when was the last, I don't want
Okay.
to.
You're the owner. You should know. You would know.
What happened in the past, okay? If I would remember, I'll tell you. I don't want to give you wrong information.
Give me a ballpark. A year? Was there one
Okay.
towed in the last year?
I want to say that the point now is and I don't know that you were at the last meeting. I want to focus on things moving forward, okay? And whatever has been done or hasn't been done, honestly, is in the past, and I'm trying to get to solutions
I
for
think that's
moving
what we're
forward.
trying to do here, though, make sure in the future that what he is saying is gonna be gospel.
How's he gonna be hold today?
Yeah.
I have a question on this concrete walkway. Why does it have to be open? It's not a code requirement. There's a driveway that you can simply walk around that fence. So why can't that fence be secured to the side of the building or put a gate there? That concrete walk is leading to what? When you're walking around, where is it going that way?
No,
It's
there's
not-
not a driveway on Wells anymore.
No,
I
there's
think that's-
one driveway on Wells, but it's an
Yeah,
active,
But-
no, they're closing one.
I'll say now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't need to be kept open for accessibility. You could simply walk down the sidewalk and go around the fence.
The problem is pedestrians walking through where vehicles are moving in and out for,
The pedestrians don't need to even walk through that. If you put a gate there for security purposes, you keep people from running through and just kind of
yeah,
stop them.
you're preventing pedestrians from getting from the sidewalk into the building. If I was walking down and I wanted to get a cup of coffee or something, I'd have to walk around and walk through where there's cars driving.
It's like that at Sitco on 31st and Normal, there is no opening in the fence or gap in the
This-
fence, you gotta walk around and.
Is it really that big of a
They're
deal
walking
to
down
do, to
31st
walk
Street,
a
what
little
do
bit
they
around?
use?
Yeah.
If they're walking down 31st Street, what entrance do they use? The driveway.
If they're walking on Wells, they don't have to use the driveway.
But if
That's
they're
it.
walking
I'm
down,
just
why
explaining,
is it not a
I'm
code on 31st
just
Street?
explaining
So-
why, the reasoning why the city put it on.
There,
I'm not
there's
defending
there's nobody from DPD in the room to answer that exact question.
I
What-
can add one thing, Alderperson Lee, the city of Chicago reviews special use applications and without fail, when there's a parking lot application, the planners at the city try to maximize the safe routes for pedestrians through a parking lot, and they try to avoid, for safety concerns, they try to avoid or minimize people kind of just walking through the parking lot.
You're
So-
an active driveway.
and this
which is
would
why-
provide, if somebody's just coming to the convenience store and say they don't want to walk, or they've got a baby stroller or something they don't want to walk through, even if they're walking on 31st Street, they can come around to the side to the safe pedestrian pathway and avoid walking through the lot. And that's like I said, that's a very consistent theme that the city reviewers have and try to impose on.
The walkway on 31st Street by the alley.
So that's what the city planners in their wisdom require.
Okay, you could put a walkway on 31st Street on the alley line. That could be the walkway into the gas station. And if somebody wants a cup of
We-
coffee on Wall Street,
we-
they can walk
we-
all the way
we
around
could-
to the walkway.
If we all could become city planners, we could all give our great ideas too, but we have the
Yeah.
planners we have.
These are your plans. These are the plans that you gave them. That's why they okayed it.
No, not at all. That's not true. We had a plan that did not have this sidewalk, and it was mandated by the city reviewers.
So then what is your suggestion for additional security, having that condition there? What do you suggest?
So I know Azam had talked, Azam has agreed to undertake retraining employees to better monitor the lot. to retrain employees to be more aggressive in calling police. In fact, we talked about this previously. As we also talked about at the last meeting, new cameras, many additional cameras are being added. Those new cameras are going to have feeds to the 9th Police District. Well, those are again, just kind of retraining folk. There's also going to be some retraining of employees to monitor, for cleaning purposes and for keeping a logbook for cleaning and for events and things that warrant calling the police.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Azam.
I have a quick question. This is Azam Khan's son, Hamza Khan. It's just a clarifying question, rather. I'm not pointing anything out, but the objective of this topic that we're going over, is it to discuss the security and the privacy of the building of the business, or are we talking about protecting the neighborhood? Like, what is the objective of this gas station? Are we supposed to be providing bodyguards and security for the entire neighborhood? Or do we just?
Both.
For the entire neighborhood.
I've been shot at when I was pregnant. So yes, someone needs to be there.
I mean, for
In
both,
front of my own house.
for your own business and for the neighborhood. We're not only asking for protection for the neighborhood. You should
So
want to protect your own gas station.
And your
And that's a
people that
part of
work
being a
there.
good neighbor.
security guard, you guys want a fence, and you guys want the fence to be locked. You guys want 24/7 monitoring. You guys want to sign contracts with tow companies and security companies and police departments. So what is the main objective? If you guys are looking for some security, I think maybe reaching out to Chicago Police Department might be.
Oh, this is a kick in the head.
I
Well,
do.
don't
Are
forget, you as a
kidding me?
business
Someone should be talking to the ninth
Exactly.
district.
Has there been any conversations
Alderman.
with the 9th district?
This is Bridgeport Shell, correct? Not Inglewood Shell. We don't want this here. This type of attitude that we're getting right now is what makes everybody furious.
First time ever.
Everybody furious.
I'm just based on what the public.
Well, let's let Azam speak for when we have questions, okay?
We have,
we
additional-
are trying, just one second, Azam. We are trying to be responsive. We are adding the cameras, we're adding the 9th district feeds. We're gonna be more aggressive in calling police. And I'm sorry, Azam, I cut you off. What were you saying?
Yeah, so this is what Patrick was also asked us to, he showed me where should be the cameras, additional cameras. So we had in fact, there was, at that time, there was one of the, I think his name, I forgot his name, the guy who monitored 9 district, he monitored the cameras too. So he also laid out the position of the cameras that we should have those at that particular location. This is how we design all those cameras for outside and even for inside. And in fact, at that time, now I remember Patrick Thompson also ordered one of the camera was installed right on my intersection, 31st and Dan Ryan. So it was all was connected as a teamwork with the police department and us and the ward office at that time. So that can be, it could be monitored. It can be so the department can see the 31st, the Dan Ryan, even the alley as well. And it will be all recorded for 30 days.
Alderwoman?
Sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. The question was what the comment was for 30 days. The recordings would be kept for at least 30 days, right? It wouldn't just recycle. You wouldn't erase the video essentially.
Can I ask a question? Is that, I know the city has something where like a homeowner, if you buy the camera, they share with the city. Is that similar to what he's speaking?
Yeah,
of?
this
So
would,
the city would pay for part of it?
no, the city's not paying for any part of this. The city would just have access. The CPD would have access to his cameras.
Oh, okay.
He would
In
pay
real
for-
time.
Similar to
Yeah.
what they have for the homes.
No, not similar to what you have for the homes, because with that home program was just where the city was paying for it. They gave you a camera or whatever rebate for it. And then you would register your camera with the city of Chicago. That way the police department would know if a crime happened in your area that you are one of the registered homes with a camera. This is actually hire. This would give them access
I
to
don't
the
think that
cameras.
we can rely on the city. We had ShotSpotter and they got rid of that. So who's gonna be monitoring this 24/7? There's nobody gonna be sitting at the police station monitoring these
No,
cameras.
that's
at
when my
some gas
calls get
station.
coded out on the weekend too. Cause I ask my husband when he gets home, sometimes really late, cause he's a police officer too, and I say, did you get any of my calls? Because God, I got woken up by the gas station about 3 times after a long week of work, and he says, those never even come through. So someone needs to talk to the police stations about them never coming through.
That's been an ongoing problem.
It's, I mean, it never
I'm-
stops. It never stops. I'm shocked when I don't get woken up by someone screeching tires or someone dancing right across the street from the house.
What about
With a
the
4-year-old too. I have a 4-year-old child too, that has to hear this, has to see this. I have to look left to right when I walk out of the house. How would you feel if this was you? How would you feel if this was your niece or your family?
I would be concerned too.
Yes.
I'm not trying to discount that.
But I feel like,
At all.
I gotta say, like Azam, you've always been polite to me, but you're discounting all of this. I don't know why. I don't think you really see the reality of what we're all dealing with living here. And the
I-
amount of money that we pay to all live here. I clean up garbage all day long. Hey, all of us. I see
Mhm.
every single one of you outside
We do clean up a
cleaning.
lot of garbage.
Yeah. And I've asked him, so I, as I said to you all before, no one's gonna walk out of here 100% satisfied or even 50% satisfied. And neither will Azam at the end of the day, because this process has been going on for as long as you guys have known this process has been going on. He has made concessions. I don't want to discount the fact that he has agreed to sign a document that says he will never do certain things that are most concerning to you all. He's looking at a new company to monitor the parking lot. These are things that I think can work for him from an affordability perspective. I don't know that it makes sense for him. That might be why he doesn't have a 24/7. He's not open 24/7, but to have security on the premises too. He wants to improve the property, and if I have a choice between improving a property and not in the war, I would like for it to be improved. Azam, how long will this process take, and will you be open during the process?
It all depends upon the builders, I don't
But
know.
will the business be open while this is going on?
No, it will be shut down. Fence will be around.
So it'll be
Just to-
closed off for the entire time that construction is going on. Rich, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to be clear, there's obviously 2 aspects. There's the gas sales and there's the convenience store. And just for Azam to be clear as to what's closing and what's not closing, if there's a difference. Azam?
Azam, can you answer that question?
Yes, so everything will be shut down totally.
Okay.
So the business, gas, convenience store, everything will be shut down while the construction is going on.
That is correct.
But we don't know, I mean, at this point, we don't know when it'll start, but we don't know how long it's going to be either, but it will be fenced off completely.
Correct.
So I have a question.
Yes.
If the owner of the gas station agrees to all of this and he decides to sell to his nephew or his son in 2 years, is the new owner still have to abide by what he agreed to?
There won't be any sort of liquor license that's existing to pass along. Whatever whoever a new owner would be, would have to go through a whole process.
So the covenant
Including-
is not transferable in a sale.
The covenant is for him.
It's for him.
Yeah,
So
for him, for the,
So some.
it's not transferable. But I will tell you that the way that this is, the way that liquor licenses work, that everybody has to come through this office, whoever's in this office, right? To be able to get a liquor license. It's not zone C, it's zoned B. Intentionally, because if it was zone C, if it was a commercial zone district, they would have what would be called as of right ability to apply for a liquor license. I wouldn't have a whole lot to say about it. But it's zoned B, which requires that that the application come through this office. So none of that can happen without further engagement.
We didn't think any of this was gonna happen to begin with. Because from before, and it was slipped behind our backs, approved. So that's another thing, during our original discussions with Pat Thompson, I go back to this again, I keep going back to it. And now I know for a fact, I sat with Pat. Went over drawings from CDOT. He was gonna put a cul-de-sac at 31st and Wells, a removable cul-de-sac. to allow for the processions to come through. 31st and Wells, 31st and Princeton, a traffic circle at 32nd and Wells, 32nd and Princeton, and 32nd and Shields. I seen him. He showed me the drawings. He was going to close off both of the entrances along the gas station, put a fence so nobody could see from Wells Street, a 6-foot fence, and plant trees along that fence to block everybody's view of the gas station. That was the plan. That was the plan. And somehow, some way, behind our backs, it got pushed through.
So I did,
I've seen, you could look to Alderman, I'm sure those plans are around somewhere about the traffic circles and the cul-de-sac and everything.
I've seen those plans. Yes, I have seen those plans. And we can talk about, I didn't understand where the plans came from. I didn't have the context of I didn't even know it was part of the gas station discussion, to be honest with
I'm
you.
not pulling this out of my head.
No, I've seen the plans. I've, for the cul-de-sacs and the traffic circles.
Okay,
I didn't see anything about a removable
well.
one for Wells, but
he- so
everything else I
what he
did see.
told me was, we can't put a cul-de-sac there. They would have a fit because the processions go through. I said, no, they have removable ones that you could drive right through the center, but for emergency vehicles, for processions, parades, you can remove the center temporarily and close it back up again. So, and that's what he was gonna do along with closing both of the driveways on Wells Street.
Like I said, I don't remember seeing the cul-de-sac off of 31st Street or the plans that I saw, I don't believe, and I'll pull them back out just to know for sure. But I don't recall them closing off, Wells at 31st Street. That's the only thing, but I have seen the plans, with the traffic circles, and all the other things that you're talking about. You had a question?
You know, this is for the owner, when, you know, we've all lived here a really long time. And we deal with sex traffic and people coming from the bars on 33rd Street. I'm closer to 33rd Street and the expressway, and people drag racing behind me at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I think we're pretty tolerant. You know, our community wasn't like that 20, 30, 40 years ago, which is the world we live in. We deal with a lot of Yahoo and, but you know, I'm coming home from work. Most of us have to turn off onto 31st Street, and there's nothing worse than seeing a security guard standing in front of Mario's vape shop. And now we have to deal with security guards at the gas station. It's just not a comfortable feeling to have to deal with that. And I don't think people want to see that. It makes you feel uneasy. There's got to be a better solution. I mean, there is a better way to secure off that gas station from having people run through. You know, we just put up a higher fence, have a rolling fence that locks and secures. You have to open it every morning. There's other ways. I just think security guards are just, you know, they don't help your property values. It's bad all around. So I'm not sure what we could do, you know, to make it a better situation for all of us. We have to deal with this, unfortunately. So what can we do?
Do we want to go through some of the actions that could potentially be completed? Overall, that
Oh,
like these
I didn't-
and others.
I
have
didn't
gone
get
through?
I didn't get to put that up. Sorry. I lost track of that. Which email did you send it to?
11/4.
Okay, hold on a second. I meant to share that with the people on the.
I agree, and I don't like the idea of a security guard either, but
No,
it's like,
I
it's
mean-
sad that this is what it's turned into.
This is the point. This is where
But
we
if
have to
the
go.
police are gonna respond, the security guard doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean,
You know
him-
what I'm
him-
saying?
They are security by the gas station. That's
To the
by,
Ninth
you know where
District.
Chick-fil-A is.
Does anyone talk to the
yeah,
ninth
that
district?
That one had a lot of craziness going on.
Yeah,
We know,
I-
and they
yeah,
have.
I mean,
what is the police
security
response
cameras.
to that?
It kept, there was like a.
The police response is the same sort of response that we get for all of the other places we have them. I mean, like, the police are very resource constrained, right? So if there is. And I think that, to your point, when you make calls and your husband doesn't get them, because I'm assuming he works at the ninth
He
district
doesn't
then.
work at the
No.
ninth
Oh,
district,
he
but he
doesn't,
checks to see.
Oh,
like,
to
why
see,
they
oh,
code
if
it
they
right
go,
out.
okay.
I'm
Cause
like, tell
there
them
are
to pick it
operators
up.
that pick up the call, cause
I
when
know.
you dial 911, a lot of people don't understand that, though. I just wanna
I know.
make sure I get that out here. The call takers are coding the calls, and that may be something we need to take up as a city council, just in terms of like how the resources are allocated. This is for the benefit of the people that are on the Zoom. Hold on, I have to share my screen though. I'm gonna take the plans off. Well, I'm gonna have to take back control here, Rich.
Of course.
Hold on.
Rich, why were all the shrubbery and all the trees, why were they more or less cut in half from the last set of plants that we had? they almost are non-existing, right, Joe? I mean.
I don't understand that to be true.
It went from 646 square feet to 140. That's a big difference.
Oh, you're not, so no, you're confused though. You don't understand, respectfully. Those changes, I think the landscaping now is, well, I believe it to be comparable to the prior. What you're seeing is code, the changes is not from what we had on our last plans, and it's not even from what we have now. It's from what code would require if we built a new gas station.
So the plans,
And the code is, oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna, I want to clarify, because Drew brought this up earlier, right? The plans, whatever plans you saw with Patrick and whatever the last set of plans everybody remembers seeing, those plans always had to be submitted to DPD for approval. So they were always subject to the approval of DPD at the end of the day. So that is actually a true statement. So Rich, and how many times did you guys go back and forth with DPD on your plans?
It has almost been we've respectfully to all good city folks, we had some problems getting responses for periods of time from the city, which we muddled through, but there have been multiple times back and forth and multiple reviews and responsive changes.
Okay, so I put into the chat for everybody that is on the Zoom. If you look at the chat and there's an image there, it's a screenshot of the poster board that's in the front of our room here. Because I can't share my screen right now. It says actions to be completed. Number 1, driveways on wells need to be closed off and
Trees to be planted,
Thank
which
you. I'm
was the
sorry.
original landscape
the light's
plan.
just in a weird place,
Oh,
so
no
I can't
worries.
read it.
I can tilt it if you
Yeah,
need
no,
to.
it's fine. As long as I sit here, I can read it. Which was part of the original plan, and that they're closing 1 driveway, not 2. And can you give us some just context for why the driveways aren't all being closed?
So, well, Azam could speak to it. I think first of all, I think that Azam can speak better than I, but I'll start. First of all, I think the design is pretty typical of gas stations to begin with. Second of all, there's of course dealing with Shell to get approvals. But the main reason is again, this is part of what needs to make the station work, and part of a requirement of city reviews is, besides all the drawings that we have for the site plan and everything, you've also got to show truck turn radii drawings, which show how trucks can maneuver through the site. And not every truck, I suppose, is the same. There's some smaller fuel trucks and there's some bigger fuel trucks. We don't control the fuel trucks. We get the service, but they kind of work on the largest, I'll say worst case scenario, when you have the biggest trucks come in, and the trucks have to be able to maneuver through the site, and they have to be able to get in, they have to be able to refuel, and they have to be able to get out. And part of the design, it doesn't work with 2 entrances on 31st Street. You need an extra entrance there.
That is correct.
Azam, am I missing something?
No, that is correct. And there is a study. We also submitted the study too, traffic study. So it's a lot of it's all the safety features that they have to see, because the truck not supposed to back and forth. They're supposed to pull in and then they're supposed to pull out. And while the truck is pumping, also there's another. They have to look at it when the car is at the pump, how they're gonna get in and get out. So there are several variables that they have to see, and then they approve what we can open, what we can close. So and as you can see, it's a very tight lot, and they just don't want to be, they just want to make it hassle-free.
Yeah, so there's safety issues, there's design issues, and there's city.
Just one
again,
of the
city
drive.
requires these reviews, and it's got to work.
But am I right, isn't it illegal?
No, there's two.
Isn't it illegal to drive a fuel truck down a residential street?
I do not understand that to be the case.
That is the case. It's illegal to drive a fuel truck on a residential street. And that is a residential street. So if we're gonna talk about safety, let's talk about safety. If something
What?
happens, if someone blows that stop sign there and nails that semi coming in delivering their fuel, those houses are gone. So we're talking about safety, it's a law. You're not supposed to drive a fuel truck down a residential street.
Which they
Well-
do all this,
Well,
saw them the other day filling up.
hello?
Yep.
Yes, so all these safeties is observed by the trucking. I'm not a trucking, so if you need some more information from trucking, I'll be happy to give you those details, but I do not, I mean, this is something is approved by the trucking and the city of Chicago.
And by the city of Chicago.
Right.
I'm gonna, that's what I'm trying to look up right now. Let's go to the next thing here. Number 2, mandatory street cleaning 1 time per week. What does adopt?
Joey, the adopt a street, can you tell them?
So.
Adopt the block.
Oh, is it-
The city has adopted block program, correct?
Okay.
Alderman,
Not that I know of.
No.
for businesses, they don't have adopt a block anymore?
I don't know what
I
that
looked
is.
it up a long time ago. I know
Yeah.
there's adopt a highway, but I would love to
Maybe I'm just
adopt
a
the
little,
block.
I'm a little older, but years ago, they used to have businesses that were on streets and that they would adopt a block and secure a date and time or how many times a week or a month that they would.
That's
clean.
what SSAs do today. Special service areas do. So in Chinatown, there's an SSA. It's an additional tax on all the properties along Wentworth Avenue.
Why they seen them out there?
Yeah, so they pay for the wire baskets, the additional trash service, those wire baskets that you see in Chinatown, because we get so much trash generated over the weekends with all the Thai rolled ice cream and boba. They come like 2 or 3 times a week, a day on the weekends to pick up the trash. So the city doesn't actually service those baskets. When they're in the area, they do, but then the SSA also pays for power washing of the sidewalks. So I think that's what you're talking about. That I'm not familiar with any program
Years ago,
currently that.
If you had
Right.
a business and it used to adopt a block.
So
and-
I think that the solution to this one though is exactly what I asked Azam to do, which was to ensure, to keep a log. And that I asked them to 3 times a day, minimal, 3 times a day. Because they're open from 5 AM. Oh, is it 5 AM or 6 AM?
Sunday 6, but besides Sundays 5 AM.
So whatever the hours are, right, that at the open in the middle of the day, and at the close, that someone is going out, not just to cover the perimeter of the gas station, but to go across the street to your house. Walk down the street to the middle of the block and make sure that there's no other debris so that they are picking up the trash that is coming from the gas station. Cause we know, like you throw something out and you empty out your car, you're not always paying attention, stuff gets loose. So the idea though is this is something that you need to do. In order to ensure that, look, and that can start, as soon as today, right?
Right.
To make sure that you're keeping the area clean, especially after you're making this big investment, to improve that no one's gonna want trash flying around. No one wants trash flying around now. No one's ever wanted trash flying around. So if you can keep the log, and meet that request, I think that if he's keeping up with the sweeping around the property and then around the perimeter as well, would that satisfy this? Cause we don't
That
have
would
a,
make a big impact.
yeah.
You had a
Yes,
meeting last week, right? And this was brought up. You had a meeting last week and this was brought up about the garbage?
we had a meeting on
We did
April
talk about it
28th.
last time.
Yeah.
He still hasn't done it. You think he would do it immediately is what I'm trying to say. So who's gonna monitor this? You really think that he's gonna send his employee out to clean around?
Well, and I will come and monitor.
I'm saying there was a meeting last week and he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it one day. So after that meeting, it wasn't done not one time.
Azam,
Now,
have
is that
you,
a good neighbor?
May I?
No one
Yeah.
also came and cleaned today either.
I'm retired. I sit out there all day long. Don't. Let him
okay,
talk.
Azam, go ahead.
Yeah, may I? Okay. Dr. Lee, if you can ask either today, yesterday, or the day we met, if they can tell them what time they saw the trash, I can pull you the video and show you whether my lot had a trash or it was clean. So if they can kind enough to tell us what day, what time they have saw the trash, I will pull the video from outside or maybe inside to show you how clean my lot is.
I think it's not a question of how clean your lot is, it's how clean the rest of the streets are around the neighborhood.
Oh, and
That-
someone threw
yeah.
a glass bottle on Monday at 7:30 in the morning when I was walking my dog. Nobody came out from Shell, just to let you know. That glass was thrown all over the place. What if I didn't know that and I was just taking a walk down 31st Street and then stepped in glass? What if it happened to my daughter or my dog? Are you gonna pay for my doctor bill?
Zan, are your bathrooms open right now in the gas station?
Yes,
So if the customer has to use the bathroom, that door is open right now to go in there.
that is correct.
Okay.
All the fixture has been changed.
So here's what I'm asking you to do this, and this can be part of your plan of operation at the end of the day.
Sure.
That there is someone that goes, and I will draw you a map that is not just the perimeter of your property line there. My expectation is that you go down Wells, at least until the middle of the block on both sides of the street, to look for trash. So this is something that we do for the Sugar Shack, the ice cream shop that's on 26th Street. They have a log, they send their kids out, they go sweep up because people who eat ice cream over there, they're not very kind to the neighborhood either. So one of the things that we have in place for them over there is that their staff have to go out multiple times during their shifts to sweep up. And it's not just in front. So we want the same thing.
I think they need to add the vape shop to that, because the vape shop across the street. You've seen that, you have those two picnic benches. My question was, I know it doesn't pertain to the gas station, it's probably.
And I can talk to him separately about that.
That guy is really out of control.
Let's face it, if
No,
everybody,
I'm sorry, you're
if
right.
everybody just took care of like what needed to be taken care of, we wouldn't have this problem, okay?
Right.
I think that. And Azam, we gotta hold you to this, okay? This has to be done, and I will draw that out and I will draw them, and I'll share it with everybody. But there's not a program like that I can say yes to on that, okay? Close off the perimeter entirely at night to prevent continuous crime and drugs in the area. Can you address this, Azam? I think we talked about it before, but what is the reason that there's actually an answer to this, so I'm trying to figure out if I can just provide that. What is the issue with putting fencing around the gas station when it's closed?
Okay, see, we have the gas delivery comes in. And if we put up the fence, it's really difficult for them to go back to get out from the lot. And as you can see, we have a concrete barricade on the well side, and these fuel truck had such a hard time to keep hitting those barricades, going back and forth. So that's why we have shown you the radius of the trucking. They really want to get in, and without any backing off, they want to get out of the parking lot. And that was the main reason for them to.
But the reason that the fence can't be up when the gas station is closed, is that because of a delivery issue about the timing of the delivery?
The driver cannot either, I mean, they just want to drop the gas and then they want to leave without any backing the truck, going back.
My point is it possible, does the gas only get delivered during business hours, or do they come when you're closed?
They come anytime. Mostly they come at the night, mostly, when the traffic is not too much traffic around.
But do they come after midnight?
Yes, they do sometimes.
They do sometimes?
Yes.
Okay, so this is my
While they're open.
no,
When they're
they don't
closed.
have to be open for them
Yeah,
to
they come later
refuel the
A lot
tanks.
of times.
Yeah. So
So
this,
it's only convenience for the driver because you don't want to back up. So everyone has to suffer because of that reason. That the driver don't want to back up.
That would only
This is the
benefit,
nature of the industry.
that would only benefit, the gas station as well from robberies. But look what he got robbed before too. They smashed his window to get the ATM. So if he just closed off the driveways, you know.
is that, I hear everything that everybody's saying. What is there a position from Shell on this at all? From the franchise, like, is it even a possibility?
No, they are. So see the drawing that approved by City of Chicago. This is what the Shell corporate office also approved it.
I understand that. So my question though is it something that's just completely not, I haven't seen it at other gas stations, so I can't say that I've seen this in other places. I'm just wondering if it's like a hard and fast rule with franchises that you can't have it blocked off. That's my question. And if you don't know the answer to the question, that's fine. I want to skip to number 6, right? So,
Oh, and I have a picture too, gang graffiti.
yeah,
Take it to-
I'm not gonna forget about the graffiti. I just, this one and number 6 are related.
Okay.
Oh, before we move away from the fuel issue, are they putting new tanks in?
Are you putting new tanks in, Azam?
No, I am not.
No.
Don't they have to after so many years? When was the last time you put tanks in? I thought it was every 30 years.
I don't, are there rules that you're aware of, Azam, with the lifespan of a tank and when you have to replace them?
Yes, it's all Shell, I mean, it's, it's in a
They
good,
have to follow, the Shell manages this, does Shell monitor this stuff? They would tell you if the tanks need to be replaced?
not only Shell, the city of Chicago as well. And they come every year and they do the inspection, so I mean, it's a lot to do with it, so I mean, so we should know,
Azam, you're keeping up with all code requirements and all franchise requirements and all safety requirements. Is that correct with respect to tanks?
100%.
Okay. I will absolutely work with the 9th district. I've already started talking to them. So when the gas station is closed, really, the police should be monitoring. If they see anybody, if they drive by and they see somebody in the lot, they should be turning around and shooing people away. I will stay on them about that. And if you guys can help me out too, and like, let us know when you see that, then I can also, I have a very regular standing meeting with the 9th district commander. And we try to stay on top of any of the issues that people are raising to us.
So when you say help you out by documenting it, what's going to happen if I bring all this in? Because I work from home all day long. So I could document all stuff. I mean, I get it. Actually, today for my phone calls through work, there was a big accident right in front of us. I was like, oh, maybe I should see what happened out here. So I see this all day long.
So the police came to respond to the car accident, right? I'm talking more about at night when the gas station is closed, if there are people loitering, because that's what the number 3 is about.
I've called so many times and I said, hi, because I hear them loud. My bedroom is right at the top window. And I say, can you please send someone? It looks like they're doing drugs. If, they're peeing on Mike's house or whatever it may be. Like, I'm scared. I can't walk out past 9 o'clock with my dog. They're like, yeah, we'll send someone. Nothing. They don't send anybody. Like, it's terrible. It really is. I feel like a prisoner after 8 o'clock at night. And until I can legally carry a gun, I'm scared to leave my house. I don't even want my daughter looking by the front door. I shouldn't have to live like this.
And we're trying to address this. Okay?
I know you are. I'm not discrediting that, but I think Azam has a very different perspective on this and it's denying a lot of things, just like the last meeting we had telling Joey Russo, like, when were these pictures from? I have all the pictures. Like, you're forgetting I am in the kitchen all day working, so you can't refute something.
Yeah, and I certainly wasn't trying to refute the
I know.
photo evidence that you brought in. Those things happen and, regardless of when they happen, they happen. They were on his property. And again, I'm trying to address the things that I think that can be addressed, that can be reasonably done at this point, with the biggest concerns that are up there. Right? So that's why I said number 3 is kind of like number 6, right? So you've got my commitment to stay on the 9th district about this. So when I do know about stuff, after you call 911, send me an email, please, so that I can then follow up with, hey, 9th district, what was the response on this? These are all the calls that I got. I know you can help me with that as a community to let me know so that I can put that pressure on the police too. So that sorry, that's my mother calling. So that they know that we're all watching this too and that we need their attention over there. Because is that still part of Beat 914? Do you know? Does that go that far south?
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
Are you saying are we still in 9?
No, but what beat you're in?
Oh, I could figure it out
14 or
tonight.
15.
If it's 14 generally has an extra car, because Wentworth, we get a lot of issues along Wentworth, right? So from Chinatown, I think all the way down to 31st. So we do have the benefit of potentially an extra car that no other beat has.
that extra car, they get it.
They get
all
pulled
to
up,
the
they
south
get pulled
end of
off
the
a lot,
district,
yeah.
And they use up
Yeah.
all our resources here. You get a shots fired call on the south end of the district, we don't have nothing there. The overlap car goes along with the citywide call. That's what happens. They call a citywide, both the beat car and the overlap car is going.
I get it.
It took 10 minutes when I was shot at. And Azam didn't seem remorseful because all the neighbors were yelling and screaming and everything. It was just another day.
What about the bathrooms? Are they still gonna be outside? I thought we were trying to get
It's
the
beat
bathrooms
915.
Beat
inside.
915, okay, thank you.
I thought we were supposed to have the bathrooms all inside.
Was that agreed upon at any time, you guys?
That was never agreed upon. We did hear that discussion. It was considered. That was actually one of the grounds for, aside from training employees and monitoring and being more aggressive and calling the police, that was another reason for the screen barrier, to provide a barrier just to, help alleviate any concern with that, with any view. We also were proposing to add an exterior camera in that area with a motion activated light to discourage, so it'll be more clear that there's a camera there to discourage loitering in that area.
It doesn't discourage them. They're criminals.
So put up a fence, so we don't see them pissing.
Yeah.
That's, that doesn't.
Could you go back to the southwest corner for the
No,
privacy
we're-
fence? Why can't we put it on the LD line? And use that as your walkway? You didn't answer my question. How do the people enter the gas station from 31st Street? A pedestrian walking? What does he walk through? No, I want them to answer. What do, if
You can walk, there's a path, there is a path. You can walk from 31st around to Wells, around to the walkway. That walkway would serve everyone.
So somebody
in
coming
any
down
direction.
31st Street would have to go down 31st and come down Wells and then come up to my building and walk down that pathway to get into the building?
This is, again, we are taking our lead from City of Chicago
Okay,
planners.
So I'm asking you, can we put that walk path on 31st Street? It's not residential. There's no neighbors.
The
It
walkway
would
has to,
come- So the person on Wall Street would have to go to 31st Street, make a right and go to the LD line and walk down that walk path.
we appreciate your design suggestions. We do have a walkway that conforms to city requirements.
Yeah, into a residential area is what I'm trying to tell you. It walks right into 31st and Wall Street. Why? Why would you have a walk path going into a community, a residential community? When you could have it coming on to a business community on 31st Street.
It just invites
It invites everybody onto Wall Street.
onto Wall Street. Yep.
Just to remind you, it's not
There-
your.
there's-
actual
and there's
residents that
nothing-
come to the gas station. I see criminals all day long. That is what I get to see. I have music blasting. That's all I hear. That's all we all hear. Do you think that's what we want to keep dealing with forever?
Azan, can you put that walk path on 31st Street?
There's nothing, sir, there's nothing preventing someone from walking from 31st Street. People can walk there. There's not a sign that says no walking. So it's there. You have a walkway, you have the whole lot that people can walk down.
So you're telling me that the only walkway is on Wells Street, on the side of my building?
The only sidewalk is
So if somebody's coming off the 31st Street, how do they get into the gas station? Right through the driveway.
it's a whole open parking lot. I don't
Yes,
understand the
it's walking through
question.
a driveway. So why can't they walk through the driveways on Wells Street? You're gonna have a driveway on Wells Street, correct?
People can
Why
walk
can't they
from,
walk through that driveway?
I
Instead of
don't,
walk
I
on the
don't,
side of my building?
anybody can walk from 31st Street. I don't even understand your question.
There's a gas
Anybody
station
can
on the
walk,
corner.
what prevents them from walking from 31st Street? It's,
There's a
Because
gas-
if you had a privacy fence, they wouldn't come up to my building.
The gas station on 31st.
Do you get that point?
Walkway coming off of 31st Street.
So
If the privacy fence went all the way up to my building, then they couldn't walk on the side of my building. They would have to walk through the driveway to get into the gas station.
Which is what they do from 31st Street.
So this is not a question that Rich or Azam can answer, because this was a requirement from DPD. But and Rich and Azam, you could confirm for me that your original plans did not have this pedestrian walkway coming off of Wells. That's what I heard you say earlier. Is that true?
We didn't have it, and the city of Chicago asked for it, and there's a notation back and forth from the city of planning department. That's why we have that parkway.
So ask, or it is a legit
So
requirement.
Alderman,
It
can
can't be-
you go to that
changed.
department?
I will ask the question. If they come back to me and this is a code requirement, I have,
But they can flip flop it.
So I
Okay,
could-
so the
I-
opening's not there, put the walkway over there.
Rich, go ahead.
Sorry, I can add, I don't understand it to be a code requirement. So what happens is when you go to, we started this process with code compliant drawings, but for the changes we're seeking for the size of the lot, but when the city has a policy that when you're asking for a special use, you're asking for an approval for the city, so they want something more from you. So they ask you for
They're asking you to
higher
go.
than code
Okay.
requirement. They want you to go above and beyond code requirement. And their vision of above and beyond code requirement are things like this, that again, they apply to most special use applicants or ones with parking lots like this. And they do seek that at least one pedestrian safe path. So it's not a representation that it's a code requirement, but it's a representation, and I can give emails to you, Alderman. It's a requirement requested by the plan reviewers at the city to put that sidewalk at that location.
Path be on 31st on the alley line.
Did you hear that?
This design was suggested by the city, and we are
Okay, so
go with it.
suggested.
And two things,
Damage.
nothing prevents anyone from using that sidewalk, and nothing prevents anybody from walking across the parking lot from any direction. So you can rest assured that anybody can walk through the parking lot from 31st Street. Not a problem.
Is there, so I just want to understand the address. So there's a fence along the building line where you live. Then there's landscaping, and then the sidewalk, and then the privacy fence. Cause there's a little box around the landscaping. Is that a fence too? Or is that just a perimeter down here? I'm looking at the southwest corner where the opening is on the pedestrian sidewalk, and I'm sorry, my closed captions are getting all in the way here. I'm just gonna turn that off for just this. Can you move the screen up a little bit more? This box that's around the landscaping, what is that? Does that represent a fence or any sort of like
I'm not sure what you mean by box. You mean sort of this outline?
go to the right? On the right side of the path as you're walking, so if you're reading pedestrian concrete pathway, look down. You see where the trees are?
Okay.
There's a box drawn around that.
So, okay, so if I understand you, so the sidewalk, again, is requested and by DPD. The sidewalk sort of comes straight in, it sort of jumps up to the north a little bit, and then it goes over to the building and the ramp and all. And this is a little bit of a setback that's landscaped, and it provides a little setback, a little relief from the building to the south.
Is there anything that could be done to at night when the gas station is closed, to close off access from Wells into the gas station while it's closed? Like, could you put a door here and lock it?
There's two answers, I guess. Number one is, obviously, physically, mechanically, you can put a fence, although there is a fence up to the privacy fence. So, I mean, physically it can be done. The question is, and I don't know that Azam has any issue with it, because this whole path is city requested. So if the city will agree to it, we'll agree to it. We're putting this in response to city demands. So if we can, I think we can agree to it contingent upon the city agreeing to it. It's not an issue.
It would be beneficial if you spoke on our behalf to that department. And if you look at the Citgo on 31st and Normal, there is no pedestrian pathway. It's driveway, and that's how the people.
I get it.
egress.
We understand your point. I
What
hope you
he's
understand ours.
totally subject to now is what the current rules are and what the city's planners are making everybody do whenever they come in for a special use.
We
So
understand it, but like Mike said, just instead of putting an opening over here, Put the walkway on the alley side.
Part of
Flip
this,
flop it.
What-
part of this I know is about parking as well and where these parking spaces are. So the handicap spot is over here. This is, I'm giving you tidbits of other things that I've seen and heard. And what I'm guessing at in terms of this pedestrian walkway. I will absolutely ask the question. I don't know what the answer is going to be, but if I'm gonna assume the worst at this point, and this is the only thing that the city will approve, then my compromise to that would be to suggest that there be a swinging door that can be locked and secured at night. When they're closed. I don't think the city will agree to that just existing, because then people have to, you don't know what's on the other side of it if you need to use that walkway to get in.
I don't think it's a issue for us. I mean, there's a driveway there, so anyone who's determined can just walk around to the driveway. So I feel like we're
I
kind
think
of.
the whole point is that the community would rather not have anybody be able to access from here, right? So, and that's,
Okay,
hear you on that.
Well, like I said, it's not a burden for us.
Absolutely.
It's a step that they're trying to accommodate. Yes, no? Show of hands.
So depending on what the city says back to me on this in terms of the placement, and if they would approve allowing there to be a swinging door that can be secured at night, as a potential compromise to this,
That would be helpful.
that would be helpful, okay. That would at least keep people from coming that
Mhm.
back way.
Or just you see what people do at the gas
Mhm.
station in all hours of the day,
Right.
specifically nighttime. Is when the tires are screeching, the loud music. everything all around.
gate, no PVC. Fence that they're putting.
No wood.
It's wood, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so fencing, you already know, it's not, you don't have wrought iron fencing along the perimeter of the building, do you? That's all wood now? I saw some wrought iron fencing, but I think that was more decorative than it was.
I mean, the building extends to the property lines on most of its perimeter. So I'm not quite sure. I guess the answer is no. But
The question here is, specific to the fencing placement.
Mhm.
Plain black iron will continue to allow garbage to fly
Like
through.
wrought iron,
Yeah,
what you're
so
saying.
we've got wood fencing along on your side. And then they're putting the wood fencing facing wells. Is there fencing on the alley? I'm
It's
sorry, I
wood.
can't remember this.
Yeah.
There is, it's already wood, okay. So then number 4 doesn't matter anymore. There's no, so and we're getting them on a trash pickup schedule.
And I mean, if someone smashes into it or whatever, is that going to be maintained when it is damaged? Because we know accidents happen. It's not always intentional, but I'm like the fence right now, what I see, it just looks terrible.
It's been broke.
I mean, it's rusted. It's a terrible eyesore.
Azam, I'm sure once you get the new building built, you have insurance, right, for these things if something gets damaged, this needs to be replaced and maintained. Is that? People have a point here. You've got damage that already exists and this doesn't.
And then what about like Mike's pool? Like Angela, his wife was saying last time how there's, what is it, the chunks that come off the back of the building all day long? Like, what about them? How could they even swim in the summer?
So I think this is part of the reason he wants to improve the property at this point. So that back of the building should be repainted and resurfaced, I'm assuming.
peeling paint, this was part of our list of proposals. All the peeling paint areas will be stripped and repainted. So yes.
Is that gonna be done in the meantime before? So there are things that need to be done currently, right? I mean, there are things that exist today. And then there's gonna be the time between when this gets approved and when permits can be pulled and all of that. So it's not just once it's improved, it is the issues that are currently facing the community. So can there be something to be done about the falling paint chips that?
Where the trust level comes in, like if you're gonna do it now, okay, he's doing it now, so okay, well, yeah, we're gonna trust him because he said he's gonna paint the building's gonna be painted. The fence is broke, the fence hasn't been fixed, So how do you trust somebody that hasn't been doing it currently? It's, you know, you want the community to trust that you're going to take care of all this stuff, but you're not currently doing it. So what's, you know, how am I gonna trust you next week if it's gonna be done, or next year if it's gonna be done? You know, you have to build that trust within the community.
That's why I'm asking him now.
Yeah.
Okay,
no,
I'm-
saying.
I
I
wanna
guess
hold-
I'm trying to.
Yeah,
he's
and
there
look,
on me.
yeah, no, and I wanna, you know, I want to acknowledge that that's why I brought this up too, right? So there are things that need to be done to establish this, and I get is you're looking to improve the property. That doesn't mean that you can just let it like fall apart now, right? Then I understand you want to, you know, you don't want to necessarily make certain improvements if you're going to make broader improvements. But it's been 2 years since you've been able to sort of get through this process. And in the meantime, it does appear that you have just kind of let things go, and that has eroded trust, obviously, with your neighbors. Can you get a plan together to address the paint in the back? Cause they shouldn't have to deal with the paint chips falling into their pool or in their backyard in general.
I'll paint it.
Okay, and then I would like for you to let me know when that's going to happen so that I can share that with the community. So you don't have to tell me right now, like, you don't have to call but look, I will check in with you. I'll give you a week to give me a plan for when that's going to happen, or who you've contracted with to take care of some of these things. As far as the fence goes, currently, this is the one that's facing Wells, or that's facing 31st, I'm sorry, it's on Wells. It's on Wells. What's the situation with that fence? Can you at least have it removed, or put up another barrier? I mean, it's not working as a fence as it is right now, right? Cause it's been run into.
I don't think he's gonna do it until he gets the whole thing done.
I know, but it's an eyesore too.
I think he put, if I look correctly, I think he put 2 cement boulders up there, because the fence was broken. So now they're just too big.
Oh, yeah,
cement
there is. You're right.
Boulders.
Yeah.
So there are 2 boulders there. So the fence could be removed because you have the boulders as barriers now.
The boulders are there. It's close to the
Yeah.
fence, because I think they crashed into that fence. I don't know if it's the
It's kind of.
Oh,
truck
yeah.
or the cars or whatever, and then the one on the opposite side, but he's gonna close that up. I don't think he would do that. Wouldn't be worth fixing, because he's gonna close it up eventually anyway.
Yeah. Can you take a look at the fence that faces Wells and just let us know what you're gonna do to take care of that in terms of just, it is an eyesore to look at. It's,
The
yeah,
2 entryways
Right.
off Wall Street,
okay.
entry next to.
I don't have a good picture of it in my mind right now, so
I purposely wanted to walk
I have
around.
one.
and
Do you
see,
have
so
a
I knew what
picture
I
of
was
it?
Talking
Yeah.
about.
Hold on. 1 second. 1 minute.
Well,
Here's, I mean, a part of it. This is the way that's a picture of the graffiti, the
Okay.
gate writing that I get to look at too.
Got, and this is all pulled up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so on the graffiti, I will put in a call to 311, because the city will remove that from any private property.
Mhm.
So as long as we get the notification, and when your people see this, you should have them call my ward office,
Okay.
okay? As soon as you see any graffiti, I mean, I would tell anybody that. I mean, I see it on someone else's building, I call it in. So I'm sorry, I didn't know this was here, so we can get that off, but you should also probably keep some white paint around. If you see it and you can take it down faster, that would be fine, but we'll get the graffiti blasters from the city out here. And you said they're on other places too?
Oh, which one?
The graffiti removal, all over this, that's this barrier. That's what you're talking about? Or is there another wall?
Barrier.
Number 5.
Oh, gang graffiti, yeah. required
Is that
removal.
one?
Is it
You're
just,
talking
is
about?
this the,
That's one of them. There's still more places though. That's the one picture that I got today from Joe. And yeah, as of 3 PM today, gang graffiti is present all over the.
okay, and this is new graffiti?
New graffiti,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Can, a favor, can you meet me tomorrow morning and let me know which other graffiti that you find? And I'll be happy to take care of it myself.
Sure.
Why
Where do you want me to meet you?
Just have him inspect his own property. Why are you gonna meet with him?
We can't, I'm sorry, I can't hear you for some reason.
Okay. No, I say I see her all the time. If you can meet me and any of those, I'll be very happy to take care of it.
Yeah, and that's great, and she'll show you, but as you guys are out picking up the trash, your people should be looking at the building and the perimeter as well. And when they see it, they should be telling you directly as well. All right,
Yeah.
I think that's part of the frustration that I'm sensing here in the room is that they shouldn't have to tell you everything. Some of this stuff you should be picking up as well. You should be seeing as well. That's what they'd like to see from you. And I think that's something that you're capable of. My experience with you, and look, it's limited. You guys have had much longer experience with him. I'm focused on how do we get things on better footing so that this property can be improved and that there can be improvements that improve the quality of life in this area in general. Okay? So just to recap, there's going to be a restrictive covenant for the life of for Azam. For as long as he owns this property, that there will be no liquor license applied for, there will be no video gaming, there will be no sweepstakes machines, and no electric charging stations. Those are the 4 things that are gonna be in the covenant. He's gonna commit to a plan of operations, and I'm gonna draw a map for him, that includes the area along Wells, down the street, on both sides of the street, so on your side of the street and on theirs, probably down towards the middle of the block. We'll figure out an address that makes sense. That will be 3 times a day, and that log will be kept, and anybody we'll be checking the log, right? People should be able to ask for that at the end of the day. There's not a way to close off the gas station completely at night in terms of the driveways. Graffiti we just addressed. Azam is entering into a contract with Innovative Parking Solutions, which is what I talked about earlier, where there's a representative from the company that monitors the parking lot at all times to prevent any loitering.
Yes.
Yes.
And
So
he's gonna put 2 signage on the building too, one on the east side, one on the west side.
yeah, and then people will get the message when they start, putting boots on people's vehicles if they walk away. Cause again, I've seen it happen personally when I've been to the gas station. And people will just pull up and the couple of cars, shake hands, whatever, and then they walk away. Yeah. So
They do it.
the whole idea is that this company will keep a better handle on that and will not allow people to loiter on the property for the gas station. The bathroom locations are where they're remaining. So in here, taken in its totality, my goal here is with the increased height of the fence, with the privacy, and I'm gonna talk to DPD about where the sidewalk is and if there's anything that we can do, because it doesn't sound like Azam necessarily wants it there. Okay, that's not him. But if there isn't a way to remove the requirement for the sidewalk over there, can we put a door, a fence door that can lock at night when the gas station is closed?
Can I make a suggestion? We haven't talked about going up, but now this is just, I'm asking. Where he was going to put the 2 electronic pumps or whatever those things were called, that was gonna be alongside of the building, by the bathrooms. Is that where it was going to be? Cause
Yes.
it was, and he's not going to do that. Why does he have to go up? Why can't he just put what he needs for his office right along the side?
So
I'm just
again,
questioning.
I get your question.
Yeah.
And these are the plans that they have.
Nobody's brought up the fact that he's gonna go up and block that Mr. Passarelli's building.
All due respect to everybody and to you, and he's got the right to do that.
Okay.
And I told Mr. As much as it hurt me to say that to him, okay, that it's Azam's prerogative on this. He did try to move the upper part of this past his building, so it wouldn't be blocking any of the windows.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
be
so
my question. He is going to do that?
No,
Further back?
he did move it further back so that it wouldn't be
Okay,
blocking the windows
Okay.
of the building.
I wasn't aware. of
Yeah,
that. Okay.
so that was actually one of the first things that, when I saw the plans that we talked about,
Okay.
so that he
Well, that's-
never wanted to block the building. That's why they had that set where it was.
So question on in the front, like where he's gonna block the bathrooms. Our staircase in the front of the house is pretty high. I don't know how many feet you would say it is. Pretty high though.
Upstairs,
Yeah, 12 stairs high. So even when I walk out, am I still going to see people urinating all day? That kind of delight me during my workday. Is that still what I should anticipate on seeing, especially?
Well,
in the
my
walk-around?
hope is that with the new security folks that are gonna be around, well, with that should cut part of that down. And I don't know what hours they're going to be there, Azam, something like that, he doesn't have the contract yet, so.
I mean, it's all day long. It's not just specific. It's early. People are doing it midday. I mean, that's all I see.
Right, so, and Azam, that, we need your staff to help curtail that.
Sure.
Right, that we need, and when you have, especially when you have the new cameras, if you see somebody doing that, somebody should be going out.
You know why they do it? Because it keeps the bathrooms locked.
Yep. he
I
tells
mean, there's no
people that-
reason to urinate outside if your bathrooms are open.
So, and the bathrooms need
He
to
has them
be
locked all
open.
day long. He tells them they're broke.
Mhm.
I've been going through this for years. A customer will say, I have to use the bathroom, they're broke. He has to go to the bathroom, where are they gonna go? They're gonna go to the nearest fence, the nearest bush, the nearest tree. It's plain and simple. He tells the people they're broke. That's all. That's the problem. If they were open, no one would be urinating outside.
Azam, so the bathrooms need to remain open.
Correct. It's, all the fixture has been replaced, it's open now. It's
Oh,
been,
it's open now. Do you keep them open, or does the customer have to ask you for the key?
no, they do ask for the keys.
And what's your answer to that?
Well, they should have to come in and ask for a key.
Right, and what's his answer? They're broke.
Sicko doesn't have a key. They just use the gas station at Sicko, 31st and Lonely. They don't lock it up. They have a key, you know, you don't have to ask for a key. Just go in there.
He doesn't.
I think that I've been to bathrooms where, gas stations where you have to ask for a
I'm
code or the
fine-
key.
I'm fine with him giving
Yeah,
him the key, but
as
he-
long as it's open. Okay. So here's where we're ending up. The hearing is on Friday. I will make the call to DPD first thing in the morning to inquire about the sidewalk on the back. If you leave me with your contact information, give me an email and I can just leave your email here on this pad before you leave. And then I will email, or I can send it to TT because she can get it to everybody, right?
Send it to me, I'll get it.
You know,
started. No, I know.
I make sure that you get everything.
Quick question before, now you're saying this zoning meeting is on Friday. Did I read it correctly? How many people can go to the zoning board meeting if they wanted to attend, like residents?
You can attend, and Rich, I mean, like, you go to more of these than I do. I don't generally attend.
Everything's available. Type in Chicago Zoning Board of Appeals. Everything is online. Everything is out there.
The
Okay,
whole
now my
document
question to you is, do you have to fill out an application
Oh, no.
to attend?
It's not an application. I have
it
to
on my
check with
phone.
city
I have a
council.
copy, because I
Yeah.
pulled up something.
You might have to fill out a form for public comment. I don't,
Everything is
Just-
online. Everything is
Oh.
online.
okay, so
But does
don't let
it-
me tell you the wrong thing. I've never attended a ZBA.
Right now, I already got it sent to me, the interested party, the zoning board of appeals. So when she called me on Friday, this is like the whole document that needs to be filled out, 5 full
And
pages.
it has to be turned in by Tuesday in order for somebody to
Yeah, if you want to
attend,
see
so I
that,
don't know if
it's
people are aware of that.
It's 5 pages.
To go to the meeting?
That's pretty lengthy.
Yeah, from what I read, I could be wrong, I'm
That's
just
what I
questioning you
kinda
as an
thought, too.
attorney. Is it true that a resident, because I can't go because I'm not a homeowner, I'm from what I read. Is that true?
Mhm.
Like, it's just as a renter, can I go because I live down the block from there or no?
I believe that you should be able to.
I don't
They-
think so.
Oh, you could, even as a renter. You don't have
Yeah,
to be a man.
you're a resident. I mean, like, you should be able to.
The application, I could go. Okay, and do people have to register and, because if the application is to be turned in by Tuesday and I show up on Friday and I didn't fill out an application, they're gonna ask me my name, are they gonna let me in if I decide to do it?
It's all online. You have to follow the rules that there's the
I know that,
registration
I
form.
know that, I'm telling you.
I it's all there. If I tell you something wrong, I'm gonna get blamed.
I'm a genius.
I don't
Alright,
want
so
to
let-
represent
Let-
anything because
let-
I'll get
guys,
blamed
let-
for something
Let
that's
me find
wrong.
out the answer for you. I'm not gonna put that on Rich Keith.
No, I would,
Yeah.
I mean, I would just be, I would like to go just to hear what they have to say, you know?
Yeah.
And again, but here's another question and to address
I'm
it.
not everybody else's attorney. I'm Azam's attorney, but
I
everything's
didn't ask you
online.
why.
And if I say
All right,
something
know
wrong,
that.
I get hung here.
We know that, buddy.
I probably could run rings around you without being an attorney, but that's another story.
Okay,
So according to the city of Chicago, anybody can go. You don't have to be a landowner. Anybody can
Okay,
go.
well then it's false on what I've read.
Yeah, registration, people who wish to provide a comment do not need to register ahead of the hearing. They will be asked to sign in on the day of the hearing. The sign-in sheet will determine the speaking order. So if you show up, if you show up
Voice an
first,
opinion if
you
you
can
wanted
voice
to.
an opinion.
Okay.
You don't have to fit all 5 sheets. I don't know where that
Okay,
came from.
now being that the security thing that Alder Lee suggested for booting the cars. And Hassan or whatever his name is, said that he's going to look into it.
he's waiting for a contract to
Oh,
sign.
all right, he's waiting
Yeah.
for a contract to sign. So is that going to delay the zoning board meeting? Can?
No, that's not, I mean, he's made a commitment. He's made a commitment to me that
Oh,
he's
he
gonna
did
sign a
make a
contract. He just
commitment. Okay, I
doesn't,
didn't know.
was asking him for the terms of the contract.
Okay,
Cause the question was asked over here, somebody asked, how long, you were sitting over there, sorry, I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
getting confused now. You asked
the
the
duration
question,
of
the
the term,
duration of the term, so that's why, as soon as he gets the contract, he's gonna share it with me. So I'll know what that is and I can share that information.
They're gonna boot your car, they're gonna think twice about doing it.
I have a question regarding that security fence again. So can you scroll to that just that corner where the fence is? And I'm only bringing this up because of the graffiti issue that you shared. I just think that whenever you stick up a wood plank anywhere, you're just inviting people to put graffiti on it. So is there any sort of landscaping or shrubbery in front of that fence that will just kind of, screen the wood behind it?
There's these are bushes or trees right
So-
here.
Okay.
Well, they're gonna grow.
They'll grow.
Is that on the inside or the outside of the gas station?
That's
That's on the
outside.
outside, that's on the.
That's on
public
the
side.
outside and then it's the parkway
Yeah,
or the public street or the sidewalk.
I mean, are
The-
these-
When I get tell. So
There-
that will be
there's
screened.
there's
They'll be screened,
landscaping.
so then you don't have these, an opportunity for somebody to spray
If-
in it.
I agree with you that as soon as somebody puts up a blank slate someplace,
Mhm.
someone's gonna wanna come tag it.
Mhm.
So the thing that we have to do is Azam, the
Community.
city, whoever, we need to be able to get that covered up as quickly as possible. It can't, none of that can.
So I think there might be a better solution. I mean, you have a fence, right? So how about a metal fence? That has the wood boards that go in between. You're just, it's hard to tag that. You know what I'm saying? It's a metal fence with slats. And then. there's
So
wood in
this
between.
is,
They're gonna tear.
is it,
Yeah.
No, I'm just trying to.
the material, is it actual wood or is it some composite?
I'm not a fence expert. If I had the, I wish I had the
It's all wood, yeah.
architect here
Today,
because of the
So-
labeling.
I thought it was on another slide that you
Yeah, it
had.
is. I'm trying to, I'm
One other
diligently.
question while he's looking for that, I just want to make sure that the fencing, the shrubbery and all this stuff is actually going to be maintained and not just put up and then just brushed aside, and this gas station will continue to be an eyesore. Like, cause that's all of us see.
Yeah, Azam, the question was, will you be maintaining the landscaping?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Tell you anything right now.
This is true.
Right.
I hope so. Because when I have friends that, I work with that come visit, they're like, oh, Brianna lives by this really like shady gas station. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, there's nothing I can say about it because that's exactly how it looks. And if that was my property and my investment, I wouldn't let things look like that. I was pregnant cleaning up the garbage in front of my house from your gas station when I was 9 months pregnant, just to make sure my house looked nice. And I don't see that happening. And none of the people that work at your gas station right now are pregnant or look like they have any medical problems that they can't get out there and clean up the garbage and the cigarillos that I saw this morning that flew in front of my house.
All I can see, how,
Azam, it would be really helpful if you
You-
started on the cleaning tonight, if you can. Like, get somebody out, sweep around go across the street, go down the middle of the block on both sides and just make sure that the trash, because that's not trash that's being generated by the people that live there. That's all generally coming from your gas station. And help to start building up some trust again with your neighbors here. I believe that with what you're gonna be investing here and the fact that you're not going to be running your business for the amount of time that it takes to make these improvements, that you're gonna protect your investment by keeping everything up. I believe that because I think if you're a good businessman, you should be doing that. I can't speak to the why, and if he's had plans to try to improve this for the last 2 years, I can kind of see why he would be cutting some corners. I'm not saying he's right. But I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt because I would like to see improvements here. And for as long as I'm here, you've got my commitment to stay on him about making sure that we do that. Because listen, you guys are gonna make sure that I know about it.
And then you're gonna tell me when I'm.
I mean, whose number can I call when I see issues going on, like aside from the police, and it's gonna be summer, so they're gonna take forever? Who do I call? I mean,
For what?
shootings, the parties in the gas station, people throwing stuff, thank God we have a fence now on the side where they can't come and pee by the back door. Like, who can I contact about it to really rectify this? Because calling the police station is not doing anything.
Are you calling the police station directly or are you calling 911?
I have to call 911. The police station, they'll tell you have to call 911 and then it
yeah.
has to actually be dispatched. So like, who can I hold accountable to make sure that these things are actually being accomplished? That all of us on Wells and even what Joey sees on Princeton, like all of us collectively don't have to see all these terrible things on a daily basis.
I don't think that, look, I'm not gonna tell you that you can hold me accountable for that. What you have my word on is that I'm gonna stay on top of Azam, as you guys provide information to me and things that I can take to the 9th district. When people bring stuff to us, it's the first call. We had someone in here earlier that lives, whose daughter lives in Canaryville, and has a property on that Emerald Street. She came here, she told us about stuff that was going on over by Freddy's. And we got that call from somebody else the other day, and we already have the police monitoring that. So whatever information you provide to us about things that you see that are going on and things are heating up, especially if your neighbors are calling us too, we'll take that and we'll go to the police. We're in the position where I can't just snap my fingers and make things happen. I mean, if that was the case, we wouldn't have these problems at all. But we're forced to work with the resources that we have. So within the resources that we have, what drives services are calls for service. But if you're the only one that's ever calling about something, then it shows up as one dot. I can't say 20 neighbors on the street, like we're getting blown up about this. I gotta blow you up about it.
I've been told it at the park. No, I've been told it at the park because we were calling 911 and they said, keep calling because it only shows up as one. And if you keep calling, they're gonna realize that it is a problem. It's not just one person.
It can't just be
Yeah. And
Brianna, you're there watching it all the time. It can't just be you all the time, right? So if there's a phone tree that you
Right.
can get to everybody and have everybody call 911 at the same time, that's 17 more people that are calling for something. That's 17 more people that are calling for something versus one. And if the 911 center starts to see that many calls on something, they may, and again, I can't promise you that they're gonna do that.
They
But
really don't though. Like May 9th, I called at 7:27 in the morning. That's when the glass bottle got thrown. And then I also called at 9:11 PM. No one ever came. Like I have the log here of stuff. Like
I understand, but if you're the only person that's calling, my point is if you're the only person calling, think of it as a heat map when calls for 911 come in. So if you're the only person that's calling, it just sounds like you're one angry neighbor versus this is an issue that collectively everybody is impacted by. I'm not saying it's right. I'm giving you what I know about how the system works.
And that's what they told me. And I can verify that because I call about the Armour Square Park constantly. And he told me you have to have everybody keep calling because they drink there, the kids from all these neighborhoods and it's.
Well, that was an issue over the weekend, wasn't
Well,
it?
I heard about that one.
I
missed that
heard
one.
about
I
it
was
too.
At a party, but yeah, and that's gotta stop.
You know, it's a shame because my son is in high school and the kids were so excited to go to the baseball game. The seniors are getting out of school, they're done, they're graduating, all the kids are meeting up, they want to go to a baseball game and because all the nonsense going on in the city, it ruins it for everybody else. No, don't mind, again, some of them get a little crazy, but I told him, I go, listen, you're gonna go out, you live here, just don't get wrapped up into that stuff. But he said some of his friends didn't even get into the ballpark. They didn't
Because-
make it past the front gate.
Because this whole group of kids
This whole
were
group of
drunk
kids,
and
yeah,
acting up and the the Sox didn't have any way, they had to like they had no way to like determine who was with who at that point.
But what they
Yeah.
have to do for them is, and I did complain about this with the park too, and maybe you can work with the two. There's vendors on 35th Street, and they sell these little bottles of liquor, and they're selling to the underage kids. I spoke to the superintendent about it. Last year, I literally.
And I've asked BACP to send the vice team out to stay on that as well, cause yeah, so we're constantly asking for that as well.
That as a community, if
Yeah.
you see it, you have to call it in, because the more
Yeah.
calls they get, they're gonna get tired of getting the calls and they're gonna take action. And I did call that night, Friday night I called, I waited to come, and the police officer did come out, because if he didn't, I was gonna go into the station and say, nobody came out. He didn't take their liquor away, which again, they're not gonna, because then you're gonna have a mother say, well, why did you do this to my son? They told the kids, if you're drinking, here's the garbage can, and they did do it. I thought, oh, finally, they used the garbage can. And if we get them into that habit, again, they're gonna drink, they're kids, whatever, and they're not from our neighborhood, they're from Mount Carmel or whatever, they come on the trains.
Yeah.
We all gotta be
they're
vigilant.
coming
Yeah,
from
they're
the
coming from
burbs.
Beverly
Yeah.
and Mount Greenwood in there.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, so thank you for that. It's 8 o'clock.
yeah.
It's been a minute.
This is my
And I,
American.
yeah,
Thank you for having the meetings.
Made an effective structure of communication to when things present themselves.
Yeah,
to
like,
have
that's what
a-
I'm saying, like, who can I really like?
formal-
I can-
Please
call 911 first.
you always call that
Yeah.
person,
I
then
do,
let
they don't
Because
then
that's.
let us know that you
Problems
did.
we run into.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah.
To be
You know,
honest
some
with you,
names
what I would
together,
suggest
some
you do is
numbers
go to the police
together,
station
and-
and say, this is what I've done.
yeah,
I've been
we
to the
do,
station a
we
couple
do need like the phone
Well,
trees
call
working
us
though, like that
to-
is.
If it's between 9 and 5, we're here. You know what I'm saying? So call us too.
You know, when
Yeah,
they were
it's-
drag racing behind my house, it was like literally 3 o'clock in the morning, and the back part of my bedroom faces Wentworth. I'm like 1 block,
Uh-huh.
but my bedroom
They
faces.
do that
Wentworth.
down Stewart all the
And I
time.
called
Yeah,
911,
Stewart's like.
And they're like, well, how do you know that they're drag racing? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I could walk there right now and
Yeah.
watch them. And I was
Thank
going
you.
to.
You're welcome.
I was like,
Thank
I
you.
have like,
Yeah, thank you.
like,
All right.
Drag racing, I'm pretty sure they're. that's what
Rich,
they're doing.
Azam,
Went on for like
Thank
2
you.
hours.
I don't think there's any questions that are in the chat. We'll,
Thank you for having these meetings.
I'm gonna give you a call. Let's, I have to get home to my family now. I'm gonna give you a call. Thank you. Have a good night. Rich, I'll give you a call on my way home and Azam, we can
Bye.
conference you,
Bye, Mike.
okay? Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
And my ex, he said it's not my.
Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you, Richard. I really appreciate it, man.
He's on mute. You're on mute. No, he's on.
We'll talk later. I have a call with the city at 10 tomorrow, so I'll try to, I know the alderman will take it upon herself, but I will also talk to the city about that fence gate issue.
Okay.
And I'll, let you know. And then,
If they wanna close it, I mean,
well, yeah, let's sign off for now. Thank you.
already have a good one.